Becoming a world-renowned champion is a dream anyone would love to live, but most people don't realize that there's always a downside to everything, and with fame and fans, there are always a good number of haters too. And a lot of the time, too many negative comments can have a pretty bad effect on your mental health. But Canadian professional tennis player Leylah Fernandez has recently shared how she deals with it all. Let's get right into it. First things first, Leylah Fernandez reveals her way of handling negative comments. Leylah Fernandez recently opened up in an interview with the WTA for their The Real Me series, where she shared how she dealt with the multitude of criticism and negative comments that people like her have to deal with on a daily basis. In the interview, she revealed that she and her team have agreed to always follow one rule no matter what, to never read an article written about her, no matter whether it was good or bad. In her opinion, whatever comes out, it comes out, and so she tries not to read anything about herself, but if she does end up hearing something negative about herself, it immediately goes in one ear and out of the other. That is, she tries not to dwell on it too much. Honestly, this sounds like a pretty solid plan. Leylah Fernandez's refusal to read anything about herself means that she's kept herself apart and ignorant of others' opinions so that she can focus all her energy on working on herself instead, away from all the negativity and hate. And while it probably wouldn't hurt to read a good article or two about herself, she can't tell unless she's already read it, so it's better to stay away from it all in the first place. That way, she makes protecting her mental peace and well-being a top priority for herself. Next up, Leylah Fernandez speaks up about the doubts she's faced so far. Nowadays, there's no doubt that Leylah Fernandez is one of the most promising and talented players in the world of tennis, especially considering that she's also a Grand Slam finalist. In the past year alone, she's proved time and time again that she absolutely has the game to compete with the top players in the world, and maybe become one of them one day too. But did you know that there was a time when Fernandez was told that she'd never make it in tennis? That's right, back when she was first starting out and dipping her toes into the world of professional tennis, a lot of people doubted her abilities because of her slim frame and projected that negativity toward her. In the interview with TMA, Leylah Fernandez shared that some of the most negative comments that she'd ever received were when people told her that she was too short, not fast enough, not strong enough, or not powerful enough, and worst of all, that the way she played tennis wouldn't work against bigger and better players. According to Fernandez, those comments in particular became very repetitive over the course of the year. People would keep on telling her that she'd never be able to achieve her goals because she was either too much or too little of something, or that the way she did things, that style wouldn't work on higher level players. Coming up, the negative comments fuel Leylah Fernandez. If there's one thing that is the most effective at keeping people passionate and motivated to do the things that they do, it's definitely spite. In the same interview, Leylah Fernandez shared that despite the negative comments, she makes sure not to take them to heart. Instead, she turns it into something more positive. Specifically, Fernandez said that just hearing the negative comments fueled her and her family to work just that much harder to prove them wrong. Moving on, Leylah Fernandez speaks on mental health. In the same interview with WTA, Leylah Fernandez touched on a lot of topics, including mental health, and she also recalled her very first professional match on tour. The former US Open finalist shared that she had been absolutely terrified the first time she had to step on the court to play her first ever professional tennis match. There was a lot going through her head at the time, but her biggest worries were about whether she was strong enough or fast enough, and all those doubts kept on playing in her head and slowly freaking her out. She ended up losing that match, but at the same time she learned just how important mental health was. It affected everything you did. According to Fernandez, she had been really scared to talk about it back then, but now that she has experienced it, she can easily admit to herself that she had been nervous at that moment and that it was completely normal, and instead work on trying to figure out a way to take those nerves away in the moments that really matter, like whatever match comes up next. In Fernandez's words, nobody really knows what's going on in someone's head. Nobody has the right path. She went on to notice that mental health has become a much clearer problem these days, but that because we were talking about it at least, that means we're going in the right direction, and that we're looking for some solution to it. The most beautiful part about it all, in Fernandez's opinion, is that we are now willing to learn from our past mistakes, and we're willing to become better, so that our next generation can be better, and so that we can make overall a much better and more accepting world. Finally, the real me, Leylah Fernandez. Leylah Fernandez not only discussed these topics with TWA, but also a ton of others, and if you'd like to watch the whole interview, you can go ahead and search it up on WTA's YouTube, where Leylah Fernandez's interview is the third part in their The Real Me series, where they show the true side of a lot of popular women tennis stars. Now, moving on to other news. First and foremost, Leylah Fernandez will captain Team Canada at the Billie Jean King Cup Finals. Bianca Andreescu won the 2019 US Open, and Leylah Fernandez will be the captain of Team Canada at the Billie Jean King Cup Finals at the end of this month. The world number 38 is also her nation's highest highest-ranked player, and they will be competing against Switzerland and Italy in Group A. The event commences on November 8 in Glasgow, United Kingdom, and concludes with the final on November 13. Along with Carlo João, Rebecca Marino, and two-time mixed doubles slam winner Gabriela Dabrowski, Fernandez and Andreescu will also be playing. Leylah Fernandez will attend the event with the intention of putting her personal struggles behind her. She returned to competing in Toronto in early August after missing 2 months of competition due to a grade 3 foot fracture. The 2021 U.S. Open finalist played in her first match since Flushing Meadows last month at the San Diego Open. The best Billie Jean King Cup performance for Canada was back in 1988. They reached the semifinals there before losing to the eventual winner, Czechoslovakia. They once made it to the quarterfinals after that in 2015. Additionally, if the Canadians make it through the group stage, they'll probably try to benefit from the absence of Poland's Iga Świątek, the current world number 1. Next up, Leylah Fernandez was handed a wild card into the WTA 500 event. The San Diego Open has just announced that 2021 U.S. Open runner-up Leylah Fernandez has accepted a main draw wild card. The WTA 500 category includes the San Diego Open, whose first edition is scheduled for next week. Fernandez failed to make the main draw cut despite competing at the San Diego Open against numerous top 10 athletes. However, Fernandez was given a main draw wild card by the event directors, whom she thanked in her statement. The San Diego Open will feature a star-studded player field, including current world number 1 Iga Świątek. Fernandez, who hasn't played much in recent months, isn't the favorite to win the San Diego Championship, but she can certainly make a splash and perhaps do well. We'll just have to wait and see how far Fernandez gets in San Diego. Finally, Leylah Fernandez pays tribute to Roger Federer after his retirement announcement. As soon as Roger Federer announced his retirement from tennis, the tributes poured in. Leylah Fernandez, who has never faced Federer but yet views him as a role model, delivered one of those tributes. One of the most skilled and exciting players in the game right now, the 2021 U.S. Open finalist grew up watching Federer on TV and dreaming of playing like him. She took to Twitter to send her tribute, where she said that words couldn't describe the inspiration Federer had been to her. In her words, "Thank you for sharing your talent with the world and for everything you have done for tennis." She also added a picture of herself with Federer in her tweet. Fernandez also praised Serena Williams, another tennis superstar who recently announced her retirement. Fernandez referred to Williams as a legend, saying that he gave her and many others like her a path to follow. And that's a wrap for this video. How do you guys approach dealing with negative comments? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.